So this discussion will be an introduction to ethical reasoning, especially as it applies to questions that involve an economic decision. Uh, to briefly review the video about the trolley problem, which is often used in an introduction to ethical reasoning, if you answered the question that you would pull the lever when the trolley is going by to save the five people, and even though that might sacrifice the trolley running over this person over here, you would say that that is an ethical decision to pull the lever, that you're coming from a place that's called utilitarianism or outcomes utilitarianism or outcomes ethics, or like a teleological approach. I'm using some of these words that have more subtle meanings a little interchangeably here for this purpose. And however, if you said that you would pull the lever here on a runaway trolley, but you were reluctant to push the person off the bridge in order to stop the trolley, and that gave you pause, it's probably because you felt, hey, it's wrong to sort of actively push someone in the way. And really, you would be like violating a rule. And this is like kind of the point of view you'd be arguing from here is that you're violating a rules ethics. Okay, rules ethic, or like a deontology. Other examples of rules ethics would be like the Ten Commandments, or the Geneva Convention, something where there's like a set of rules that you can't violate regardless of the outcome. Whereas a utilitarian approach is that you're judging an action based on its outcomes. A third type of ethics is called virtue ethics. And in virtue ethics, you're judging a decision or an action based on, is it bringing virtue to the person making the decision? You know, is this leading to someone being honest, a good person, etc. And that being the highest value. Maybe an example that you could sort of use here: someone who wears a bracelet that says, "What would Jesus do?" Like, if I were to take a given action, is that going to make me like this or that virtuous or moral person? So now, as you can see, sometimes these different ethical points of view can lead to different outcomes, and they conflict with one another. And so we have to be careful when we're saying, hey, this action or that action is ethical or isn't ethical. And rather, it's from an ethical frame, I think or feel this or that. All of our sort of like when we ultimately bring this to economic policy, we always are bringing our values to play. And any kind of statement where we're bringing our values or really our ethics into it, this is what's going to be called normative economics. What is normative economics? It's making a statement based on our values, as opposed to positive economics, which is an attempt at just looking at the data. So if I were to give a short or simple example that demonstrates this, if you were to make a statement that, hey, the data shows that if we raise taxes by, say, $2 on a pack of cigarettes, we expect a reduction in cigarette use by 30%. And that's a positive economic statement because it's just a statement of what we would expect from a given action and the outcome. Raising taxes $2 on a pack, we see cigarettes consumption decline 30%. A normative statement would be, we should raise those taxes by the $2, because you sort of, that's a policy goal. You want to reduce the smoking, if that's the case. Let's say that the second statement there has a value laden with it. There's a judgment in there, and that's why this is called normative economics or a normative statement. The positive economics is, hey, if we were to take a given action, these are the benefits, these are the costs, okay? And then we'd have to ultimately use our values, which is going to be based on one of these ethical frames above. So moving forward, Yes, we've learned a bit about so far about markets, but as we're thinking about designing economic policies, we are going to be weighing both pros and cons and benefits and cost of them, and that doesn't always tell us what we sort of should do, because ultimately all of our decisions will be based on our values, and economics can't always answer these questions. Okay, and we just hope to use a bit of our economic analysis to help us frame benefits and costs, and then hopefully adding information to our decisions.